Terrence Bronson, Go Ahead First, and Real Estate, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm going to show you something that I find very disturbing. I've always had a real issue with it. Some of us may have thought about it. Some of us may not have thought about it. But I'm going on record about it because it's a real issue. And again, to my community that I happen to be a part of, I had a whole rant about Black History Month. This might piss some people off, but I had a whole rant about the Black History Month and why I feel like we may be a disgrace to a certain degree, or disappointed. Our forefathers might be disappointed about it. And then again, I don't know. But this is just something I have an issue with. And I want to see what your thoughts are. What do you think? Now, the investor wins. Real estate is in cycles. Life is in cycles. Everything goes up and must come down for the most part. But here we go. Something that really bothers me is that we as individuals, we are consumers. We've always been consumers. I think we consume too much. We can't get ahead because we make bad decisions. And that's just what it is. We see, that someone else or another individual influence us to go buy in other areas, paying too much for it to begin with. And then we have other cultures or investors that come right where you came from, buy for pennies on a dollar. You never can go back to that area because it's too expensive. And then you out here looking crazy. Now you want to come back to the inner city. Make that make sense. I don't get it. I never get it. And then what's even worse, the individuals that happen to be in the communities that are still there can't get funding because they might be on a fixed income, or they might not have good enough credit, or whatever the case may be. Too much violence. So here we go. I'm going there. Check it out. I'll show you something. Here's a church right here. I'm at a block. Here's a church right here. Right? I would, if I could coordinate this together, if I was able to coordinate this, I ain't gonna try, but I would. But I'm just gonna take a few steps. I may have walked, I don't know, a couple of yards. I ain't went 100 yards yet. Look across the way. Check this out. There's a beautiful house right there, right? Beautiful house. But what is that right there? That big brick building right there. Guess what? That's another church. Look at this. That's a church right there. See this? Church. 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 I hadn't even went a block yet. I'm about to make it to another block. Check this out. Church. Church. Okay. But I ain't even done. I'm finna do a trick on you real quick. I'm at the back of a church. Church. I'm gonna go down the street, right? I want y'all to help me make this make sense. I don't understand this. I just don't. It doesn't make sense. I know I've seen it 1,000 times. We may not pay attention to it, but it's unacceptable because when I make this make sense for you, this is actually being worked on right now. I don't know. We'll see. But it looks like they're doing some work here. Guess what? I hit a block. Look, church over there in that corner. Church right here at this corner, right? I ain't even done yet. Uh-oh. Look like I'm coming up on another church. Another church, right? Another church. Help me understand. Help me understand, when is it okay and why is it okay to have so many churches? Help me understand. Why do we have so many churches? Make it make sense. We can't come together as a community. You know, we can't. We can't come together as a community. We got to have 1,000 churches. Look at this. Check it out. Dang. I ain't took that many steps. That's another church, right? Another church. Church. Okay. And guess what else? I'm going to show you one more church. I probably went, I don't know, maybe a football field. Check this out. You have a park. We have a park over here. And on the other side of that park, I'm not even gonna walk all the way over there. People, that is another church. It's another church. Another church. Now, I saw a video a second ago, about this. You have a home right here. You got a boarded up home right down the street. You have another boarded up home down the street. Then you have a development here. What's my point? My point is, some of us have paid tithes and offerings, right? Some of us paid tithes and offerings in these churches, these congregations, whether it's Methodist, whether it's Baptist, whether it's Church of God in Christ, whatever it may be, right? We take the monies from these communities, right? We take the monies out of the people in these communities in lieu of the churches, which are nonprofits, but you don't want to get into all of that. It goes to a bank that's secured by the FDIC, right? And then after you do that, you might get, a tax benefit out of it, at the end of the next year coming around for paying your tithes and lowering your tax liability or whatever. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But then when these people in the community, can't or not able to get a loan to put a roof on their house or get a loan to, keep their property to standard, or they're on a fixed income, guess what? Investors are able to come through, Investors are able to come through and buy your neighborhood or your community for pennies on a dollar, push you out, and then you're looking crazy. You can't get ahead because we're too busy focused on things that are really not important. And I've said this 1,000 times. Wealth comes from 3 different methods in a lot of cases: real estate, investing, inheritance, or insurance. I've told you more than one time. Why do we make things so hard? Make it make sense. I hope I got a point across that money that you're paying your tithes and offerings on or in goes in lieu. And I'm not bashing churches. I'm not. I have a faith. I know how I was raised. You know what I'm saying? There are rights and wrongs, but this is not the way. This is a problem. It's been a problem. So I really hope I'm getting a point across here. It doesn't make sense. I literally just walked maybe 500 yards. Maybe. just maybe, and you run across 4 different churches. How is anyone supposed to be able to come together, work together, or any of that when the people that happen to be your shepherd or your pastor or your deacon or whatever title that might be, takes funds, run it through the business bank account, the FDM, you have a building fund for years. You have a building fund for years, you paying tithes and offerings. You may not even ever see the new building, but it's cycling. Your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles paid their tithes and offerings for years or whatever. And when stuff get tough, you lose it due to taxes. You lose it due to the fact that you don't want to move in that area at that moment. And that's wealth. Make it make sense. I'm done here. I'll come back again with some more updates, some more news. Real estate, the good, the bad, the ugly. Terrence Brunson, go ahead first. You got to do better.